like you can't make a funny joke about it without offending these guys. I mean, one funny joke I told on maybe 10 occasions.
What was the joke?
I forget. All I know is it was a huge bomb.
Fallout is here, this big open world fan favorite post-apocalyptic video game series finally makes it into live action, and I gotta be honest, Season 1 has no reason to be as good as it was. I mean, the story, characters, references, and Easter eggs alone are worth the watch. So in this video, I'm going to be dropping a brief story overview, explaining the ending and what that specifically means, along with our theories of where and what Season 2 has in store. Grab a Pip-Boy, zip up your Vault-Tec jumpsuit, and open that vault as we're headed into the Wastelands. Jumping into the world of Fallout, let's start at the end, the end of the world, as we get a glimpse of the 2077 world before the bombs have dropped, introducing us to Cooper Howard, essentially the John Wayne of this time. Western cowboy, Hollywood royalty, and spokesperson for Vault-Tec because his wife Barb Howard, a bigwig at Vault-Tec Industries, which happens to be a defense corporation that won federal government contracts to design and implement a network of bunkers known as vaults. Vault-Tec hopes for the end of the world, and well, they got it. Now fast forward 219 years as we're introduced to Lucy McLean, a young vault dweller of Vault 33, along with her brother Norm and father Hank, the overseer of the vault. Unfortunately, their mother passed away when Lucy was only a child. Lucy is young, curious, fertile, as she volunteers to wed another in the tri-annual vault trade with Vaults 32 and 31, a trio of vaults interconnected because of plot reasons. However, things fall apart as the suspected vault dwellers of Vault 32 are actually raiders in disguise, ruining a perfectly good wedding reception, revealing the head of their group to be Lee Moldaver. It's unclear what she really wants at this point, a better life like everyone else perhaps, and kidnaps Lucy's father Hank, fleeing the vaults after setting off a bomb. Now, all of this sets up the main mission of the show, reminiscent of several Fallout games. A vault dweller, in this case Lucy, must venture from the protective environment she's lived in her entire life and walk amongst the wasteland to find her father. Again, very on brand with the core opening story missions from some of the Fallout games, and this leads Lucy into meeting some of the other core characters, each coming from a different walk of life. For example, there is Maximus, a Brotherhood of Steel squire, who has looked up to this faction since being saved as a child from the destruction of Shady Sands, one of the first fully functioning societies after the bombs had been dropped initially. However, he just doesn't have his heart in it. The Brotherhood of Steel ideology is far too extreme for him, so he strays from the given path once his assigned knight, let's say, doesn't make it. And Maximus takes over his role and mission of finding and escorting an asset. This asset in question is a deserted enclave scientist by the name of Siggy Wilzig, who has smuggled some sort of tech out of the facility hidden behind his ear. It's quickly revealed that this scientist, or I guess what's in his head, is the MacGuffin of this series. Everyone is after it. This brings in Lucy, wanting to deliver this asset to Moldaver to save her father. Maximus and the Brotherhood want it for control, or maybe protection, and the third-party player makes a late appearance to the party, the Ghoul. A ruthless wasteland bounty hunter who's clearly made a name for himself as one of the most ruthless. However, he still plays by a code of honor, realizing, surprised, that this is a 200-plus-year-old Cooper Howard. This same dude, affected by the radiation of the wasteland and mutated into a ghoul via ghoulification. Yes, ghoulification. There's definitely a Julia Ghoulia joke in here somewhere, but I'm not going to waste time. Anyway, he too is after this asset and Moldaver, but not for fame and glory, something a little bit more personal. While this trio fight tooth and nail for whatever the heck it is in Will Zigg's noggin. Back in Vault 33, Norm McClane does some investigating into Vaults 32 and 31, realizing that the Vault Dwellers of Vault 32 were long dead before the Raiders moved in, thinking it may have been some sort of mutiny because of the bloodied message of death to management written on the walls of this vault and probably a lot of corporations across the US. Further learning that only people who have been to Vault 31 are the eventual overseers of Vault 33. Something is fishy and Norm don't like the taste. So that is the initial setup of this series, and there's a multitude of small story beats tucked in there, video game references, Easter eggs, and other teases that I'll be covering in depth in another video I'll be posting later today or tomorrow, so please stand by for that and subscribe because yay, Easter eggs. Anyway, getting into the ending, the Vault Mystery, which is easily my favorite storyline, has Norm hacking into the Overseer's computer and heading over to Vault 31, only to reveal that it's a tiny vault. No one is actually in there living, aside from a robo-brain, essentially a tiny Roomba with a human brain and a fishbowl controlling it. Upon further investigation, Norm discovers dozens of cryo chambers. Every, quote, vault dweller of this vault is in cryo sleep, but going further, there are empty chambers with his father's name, Betsy's name, and all of the other former overseers of Vault 33. All of these cryo inhabitants are revealed to be Vault Tech management, hence the quote, death to management warning clue from earlier. This is Buds, a project Bud Askins, an executive at Vault Tech, had devised in 2077, stating that,
because what is the ultimate weapon to destroy your competition? It's not outselling them. It's not outsmarting them. It's time. Time is the ultimate weapon.
Therefore, why not put Vault Tech members on ice for hundreds of years, slowly thaw them out, having them teach Vaults 32 and 33, creating a whole team of well-behaved managers to start anew above ground once the radiation levels have subsided. It's a wackadoo idea, but vaults were always meant to be some sort of a form of experiment, and this wholeheartedly proves that Vault Tech were the ones to drop the initial bombs. They were in the business of the end of the world, and why not, just give it a little kickstart? Norm realizes this, and so do Lucy, Maximus, and the Ghoul in their own way when they all close in on Moldaver, stationed at Griffith Observatory in California. Upon final reveals, Moldaver has much more in common with Hank and the Ghoul, having come from before 2077 via a cryo chamber, with her main mission being the creation of cold fusion, essentially a stable room temperature, clean and safe energy source, unlike that of normal fusion, hinted at a little bit in the opening of Fallout 4. This is what was being smuggled out of the Enclave in the beginning, and Vault Tech management members were the ones with the code to unlock its full potential, which is why Moldaver kidnapped Hank. Moldaver reveals to Lucy that Hank had been lying about much, much more than his history with Vault Tech, and he was also responsible for the destruction of Shady Sands and the death of their mother. Roughly 20 years prior, Vault 33's water was being siphoned from somewhere, and Lucy's mother instantly had a hunch that it was because there was life on the surface. Hank, being from management and the overseer, told her to zip it, you gotta be quiet. Instead, she took her 2 kids and fled to Shady Sands, where she met Moldaver. The pair had been friends, but Hank wanted his family back, sending in hostile forces, getting his 2 children back, and then bombing the heck out of whatever was left of Shady Sands. This is how Maximus is engulfed in the wake of Hank as well, but in the blast, Lucy's mother was left to die, with her being overcome by ghoulification, eventually becoming feral, and this is the Ghoul that's sitting at the table, and Lucy recognizes this by the same worn locket around the Ghoul's neck. So Hank, Vault Tech, and Greed have been the main villains at the end of the day, ending with Hank having a standoff with the Ghoul, who too comes to the realization that he knows Hank. He had met him back in the before times, and the reason the ghoul had been along for this caravan ride is because he is looking for his family. Presumably, Hank, being a coworker of Barb's, knows where she's at or can lead them to her location, as Hank then escapes into the unknown in a spare power suit armor. The ghoul and Lucy head out on his trail while Maximus is praised for stopping Moldover and acquiring the asset. The end. Not really, because keen Fallout fans know where Hank goes isn't the unknown, but rather he ventures into the Mojave Desert wastelands hinted at by the Deathclaw skull in the sand, and looking over the horizon, Hank sets up Season 2 perfectly, as this is New Vegas, the main setting of the Fallout spin-off game Fallout New Vegas, confirmed by the Big Tower, the Lucky 38 Resort and Casino. Fallout fans, Season 2 is going to be a hell of a ride because we're headed to the City of Sin, and heck, it's only been 15 years after the events of that game, so maybe, just maybe, some fan favorites will show up again. As for Season 2, at the time of writing this, nothing is 100% set in stone, but all the signs point to yes. The California Film Commission revealed that they actually are handing out a ton of tax credits for projects to be filmed in California, which would result in Fallout cashing in on a sweet $25 million credit. Also, in a recent interview with Total Film, Fallout co-writer and showrunner Graham Wagner discussed the potential for a second season, stating, "We have documents and documents of material that we're eager to delve into if successful. Our fingers are crossed that we'll get the opportunity to explore all of it. If budget constraints are a major obstacle, the California tax credit could be a significant help. So load up on Radaway because it sounds like we'll definitely be heading into the wasteland." As for theories on what is going to happen in Season 2, we know for a fact that New Vegas is going to be one of the big, newer areas for them to explore, with the ghoul and Lucy tracking down Hank. I'm hoping that this allows for more radiated creatures to be showcased, and it piques my interest that this may be where Cooper's wife and child may be hiding. She does earlier kind of mention, like, quote, a good vault in one of the episodes, so maybe Vegas has, like, the best of the best, and this is where she's at. I don't know. I could also see this leading to remnants of vault tech having become something new, like the Institute in the games, which is classified as a technocratic scientific cabal that's created revolutionary technologies like teleportation and synthetic humans. So maybe the ghoul is reunited with his family, only to realize that they are synthetic copies of his wife and child. Feels on brand for, Fallout lore. As for the other characters, I think Maximus will get caught up in the glory and honor of the Brotherhood and lose who he is or became in this first season, catching up with Lucy only to be completely unrecognizable personality-wise. The thing I'm most looking forward to is the Vault 31, 32, and 33 mystery. Norm has a couple of options. The cryo chamber seems to be like a cop-out, so maybe his cousin Chet will come looking for him, but I think Chet and the rest of Vault 32 are doomed, because even though Steph is presumed to be a Vault Tech management, she's been through a lot, losing a husband and such, plus eye patches scream so I'm guessing Vault 32 spirals into a new kind of madness. Let me know your Season 2 theories in the comments below, because honestly, it could go anywhere. Overall, Fallout surpasses everything I thought the series was going to be. It perfectly nails several of the aspects from the games, like the humor, action, heart, musical score, and the iconic old-timey radio hits, storytelling, the subtle use of game elements like the VAT system, but in a live action setting. Heck, the journey and struggle and manipulation that is weaved into Walton Goggins, the ghoul character, was flawless. Not to mention the makeup and special effects used on his face were so good because he looks like a ghoul, but there's no loss of Goggins' performance. I really felt Jonathan Nolan and Lisa Joy's influences from other shows like Westworld and The Peripheral, especially when it came to the mystery of Vault 31 storyline. Like I said, easily my favorite part of this series, very Severance-like, and I hope more vaults and weird experiments are featured moving forward, because again, exploring and piecing together mysteries was my go-to part of playing the games, and they perfectly breadcrumbed several storylines into great payoffs. I'm gonna give Fallout Season 1 a solid 9 out of 10. I love it, and there's so much to love from the point of view of loyal fans to someone who has never actually picked up one of the games. I did have, a couple small bugaboos. There's a few minor things here or there. The biggest being the lack of creativity with the creatures that are featured, creatures that are featured, and the weapons that are also featured. I'm hoping Season 2 ramps this up. Heck, have Lucy and the Ghoul do a lame side mission to get a legendary weapon or something. Even a fat man. Just, I don't know, a power fist, something. Dude, I don't know, bring me something. Either way, I thoroughly enjoyed it and will be watching this first season a second time. That is everything for Fallout Season 1. A reminder, I'll have a massive Easter egg and video game reference video in the next day or so, maybe even today if I'm quick, so please subscribe and watch that. Also, let me know in the comments what you thought of this first season of Fallout. Did you like it? Could it have been better? More creatures and creative weapons? And what do you think is in store for a Season 2? Let me know anything and everything in the comments below. Thank you again to everyone who stopped by for this video. It was a fun one to put together. Now, on to the Easter egg video. If you want to help this channel, you definitely do, please do. Be sure to subscribe for future breakdowns like this, along with following all of my other social media listed on screen and in the descriptions below. Honestly, I am everywhere. I'm on every single platform, even wiki feeds, so it's easy to find me. Thanks again. You've been the bestest. Bye!